Hello, everybody. Jason up, New 80's Revolution office. I haven't been around in a while, excuse me. Haven't been around in a few days. All is well. I just got to get back into the groove of video making on a regular basis. Like I said, I want to do daily, as close to daily as possible, but keep it fresh. If I put more effort into the visually iconic images of our childhood, I think we have something to talk about indefinitely. There's just so many little, even looking at the bookshelf that's in front of me, there's just so many little images. You know, the Pac-Man logo. We could talk about that for a show. All kinds of stuff. So we'll get back going into regular programming, if you will. I want to give you a television update. Shows I've been watching, shows I've completed, shows I'm close to completing. So now I have two spaces where I watch shows. Home, obviously, and now here. I brought a TV into this office when I moved in, hooked it up to a DVD player, and I get to watch my shows. I get to watch one particular series at home, and then I bring a second series to my office, so I'm doubling up, which I kind of have to do because I have so many unwatched shows and so many more coming. We'll get to that in a minute. So what have I completed? Well, at home, I just finished The Honeymooners, which was only 39 episodes, which, first of all, surprises me very much. I thought, or I just didn't know, that this ran for much longer. It didn't. Only had 39 episodes. And I don't know how they did it back then. I don't know if that was 2 seasons. I assume it was 2 seasons, I think. Because this is not broken down into seasons. This is just broken down into disc 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's see if it mentions season 2. It doesn't. It just says the next, 33 through 39. So I don't know if this ran for 2 seasons, 1 season. I don't know what the deal was. And I don't know why it went away. I get the impression that it was very popular and very well received and had some major stars for the time. Jackie Gleason was huge at the time. So I haven't looked into why this was so brief. But I finished it, and when I bought it years ago, when I watched this, I had to take the wrapper off. I bought shows, just anything I thought that I would enjoy, I bought. So I bought this years ago and just put it in the cabinet. And it was not one of the ones I was looking forward to watching. It's not an 80s show. I didn't grow up watching it at all. And I probably only caught a few episodes, if any complete episodes, on Nick at Night on a random whatever. So I didn't care much, but I thought it's just a historical show, and it's only 39 episodes, and I should get it. So I did. Well, the result ended up being quite the opposite. I thoroughly enjoyed watching The Honeymooners. I thought this was a really good show, and quick to watch. 39 episodes is, if depending on your binge style, you can have this done pretty quickly. It's what, 1955? So we're talking about a very different time, which I like. I only watch this type of television because I don't want to watch anything modern. I don't want to get caught up in the modern ideals. I don't want to get caught up in modern messages or modern agendas. That's not television watching for me. I want to escape into simplicity. This is about as simple as it gets. If you are unfamiliar, Ralph Cramden, Jackie Gleason, and his wife live in a very small, I assume, one-bedroom apartment, possibly a studio apartment in New York. And Jackie Gleason is a bus driver who makes a very poor salary. And he's cheap on top of that. So he and his wife live very meagerly. You only ever see the kitchen in this, in the Cramdens' home. You only see the kitchen. I've never seen the bedroom. I don't know if there's a living room. A couple of episodes they watch TV in the kitchen, so I assume that they live in sort of a studio with a kitchen and a bedroom. That's just my guess. Anyway, they have their best friends are neighbors upstairs, obviously Norton and his wife Trixie, and it's really just silly adventures of Ralph, who's, I don't know, who could we, obviously the Flintstones bit off of this. I guess Ralph could be a Homer Simpson type of guy. I don't know. There was, he's a lovable. I wouldn't even call him a lovable loser. He's a lovable, infrequent winner, right? And it's just silly 1950s television type stuff, schemes and plots and adventures of Ralph and Norton often. The relationship between Ralph and his wife Alice is unique. Not unique. It's you know how people always say, well, that couldn't be done today. The Honeymooners probably couldn't be done today. It would be rejected because Ralph and Alice are abusive to each other. They scream at each other all the time. Ralph threatens to beat up Alice pretty much every episode. He threatens to, he always rears back as if he's going to knock her head off. And in fact, one of the famous lines is, one of these days, bang, zoom to the moon. He's going to punch Alice and she's going to go to the moon. So do I care about that? No, I don't care about that. It's silly 1950s television. I'm not going to make a big deal about that because that's not why I watch this stuff. I watch it to go away. We've talked about that before with wrestlers. I don't care what wrestlers did in their real life because I'm looking at the character, right? So I'm not looking at the show going, Alice is a physically abused woman, because she's not, and there's no evidence of Ralph physically abusing his wife. However, they fight with each other like cats and dogs, which I think is great because it's kind of a knock on the title, The Honeymooners. They are certainly not in the honeymoon phase anymore. They are at each other's throats 24/7. And if you think that Ralph is abusive, Alice gives it back pretty well. Alice is right up in his face, and they mock each other. She calls him fat. I mean, it's just it's just entertaining. Ralph is a big softy and tries to be a tough guy. And in a couple of episodes proves that he is a tough guy. He gets into a few fights. He knocks a couple people out, actually. And he's a big baby, big coward. But if he needs to defend himself, I don't know, whatever. We're psychologically breaking down The Honeymooners. It is a good escape from modern nonsense. I like The Honeymooners. I'd recommend it, sure, of course. Yes, it's fun and goofy and wouldn't be allowed today. The one I'm watching here is The Munsters. I'm watching The Munsters here. Now, this is another show that when I bought it just because. I probably watched a few episodes of The Munsters on TBS as a kid. I probably didn't care much then. I don't think I ever invested into a full episode. Maybe I did and just don't remember. But I bought it because I was a binge collector of television shows and I wanted everything. So I bought The Munsters. I have completed season 1 and I am on disc 2 of season 2. There are 2 seasons of the Munsters. Another one that I thought would have went longer. And there's 32 episodes in season 2. And I'm on disc 2, so I'm probably on like episode 7 or so. So I've still got a little while to complete this. Why do I still have a little while? Because this is not that easy to care to watch. I when I have downtime here, which is almost daily, I'd say I'd get a cancellation average daily. Some days I don't. Some days I get 2 or so. That works out. I have time. I have time to turn the old couch around and watch the Munsters. But when I have a free hour, the first thing I think of is not, watch the Munsters. It's not, because I'm not in any way invested in this show. Am I choking it down? Probably. I'm probably choking it down. The episodes are all the same. I don't have to explain the Munsters to you. Again, it's silly, mid-1960s fun, right? And that's why I bought it, and that's why I watch this stuff. So I should watch it and just get into that mindset that this is what I bought it for. It's mindless, silly, 1960s, innocent fun. Where you don't think about anything serious and you just watch it. But sometimes I find myself scrolling through my phone while I'm watching an episode, or dozing off while I'm watching an episode because it's not gripping. I don't know. It's fine. I mean, you know what's going to happen every single episode. Herman or somebody is likely going to get into a bind of some kind and work itself out by the end of the show. I did some reading about the show on IMDb. The first Marilyn only lasted like a few episodes, I think, and Pat Priest took over. Or she might have lasted a full season. I'm not sure. No, I don't think so. I don't think she lasted. The first Marilyn didn't last a full season because she wanted to get married and have children, and so she got off the show, and then they brought in Pat Priest. Like if you're a huge fan of it, if it meant something to you growing up, if you watched it with your dad on TBS, great. But to me, it's just one of those get through it shows and move on. I don't think I'll ever watch it again, but I watched the Munsters, and I'm watching it here. And I've got probably about 15, 16 episodes to go, and I'm choking them down. Now, at home, I just started Hotel. And I went in alphabetical order in my shelf. So I finished the Honeymooners, and the very next set I grabbed was Hotel. And as I grabbed it, I realized that this was going to be quite the undertaking. It's 115 episodes. Hotel went from 83 to 88 or so. And it's going to be a long, long watch. However, I've watched 3 episodes so far, and it's fantastic. Hotel is fantastic. It is. So I like, obviously, Dallas. That's one of my favorite shows. Hotel is a cross between Dallas and Dynasty and The Love Boat. And it all takes place inside of a hotel. So it's a very fancy hotel in, I assume, New York City. And it's all about the adventures of the hotel, the adventures amongst the staff, management, the owner, and then the guests. That's all. It's all stories that of the hotel, and it is not a. I don't know what the word is. Sequential. It doesn't. Maybe some of the character relationships exist from episode to episode, but each show is different. You're not going to get a huge story arc unless it's between 2 characters, because each week there are guests, special guests. Like The Love Boat, you'll get 2 or 3 of the Times celebrities of Celebrity of the Month, Celebrity of the Week, and they will be playing a role on the show. They're not themselves; they are not the celebrity. Mel Torme was on one of the shows. He was Mel Torme, but anybody else who's been on the show as a celebrity plays a different character. And again, it's drama. It's a very little bit of comedy. Not I wouldn't even call it comedy, but there's some slight humor, but more drama. It's not as serious as something like Dallas or Dynasty. It probably was a primetime soap opera, but it doesn't have the edge that Dallas or Dynasty had. It's a little edgy, doesn't have the serious adult edge, but it's there. Great show. James Brolin from Amityville. That's how I know him, from Amityville. Big beard, big bushy hair. He's the manager of the hotel, and Connie Selica is his assistant. And it's great. James Brolin, I like James Brolin. I liked him in Amityville, and I like him in this. He's just kind of he's kind of a no-nonsense tough guy, but doesn't come across that way. He's just cool. James Brolin was cool back in 1983. So far, we've had let's see, I've watched 3 episodes. We've had a thief in the hotel who was friends with the security guard, so the security guard kind of has to rat him out and prevent him from robbing the hotel safe. We've had a beauty pageant hosted at the hotel where one of the contestants gets caught up with one of the judges. Connie Selica was stalked by a male fanatic, a male stalker. That was fun. What else? Just little side stories amongst the staff. There's a married couple who work at the hotel together, can never find time together, so they jaunt off to one of the suites that's supposed to be unrented, and somebody walks in on them trying to get to know each other again. So little side stories like that. So far, Aaron Morin from Happy Days, Joni, was on the show as a special guest. So it's good. It's good so far. I like it. I like those kind of evening soap opera dramas. But anyway, so that's that. This has gone way too long, a little boring. But I'm currently watching Hotel at home and The Munsters here. Now, I've got to pick up my television watching game because Colin from Canada is supplying me for Christmas with, I don't know how many we've decided, 15, 20 television shows that he has the ability to find and then produce onto a disc of some sort. I don't know what his magic wizardry is with that, but somehow he can get shows and put them on discs. So I've got stuff like Silver Spoons coming. I've got Mr. Wizard coming. I've got Empty Nest, which I've always wanted. I think I've got Webster coming. So just tons more shows that I'm gonna really have to figure out how to watch. I need to speed it up and watch, and maybe just save movies for weekends or something. I don't know. There's just what a problem I have. I've got too many vintage television shows to watch and not enough time. So that's that. That's a quick television show update for you. Wrestling obviously is still going along, but this is great. This is so great to have all these shows. In a perfect world, I would have no job. I would be independently wealthy, and I would literally sit down and I would watch these shows all day at certain times every day, and I would just go as if it was a television lineup in 1985. But I can't do that. All right, that's that. That's the television shows. We'll see you all soon. Good night now.